Hi, it's T. Carlson here, and we're going back to some classic, marionette puppet shows. But today we're actually going to be stepping away from the world of Gerry Anderson and looking at a show that was created by some of Anderson's former collaborators, Arthur Provis and Roberta Lee. The show we're looking at today is Space Patrol, which has just gotten a region-free Blu-ray release from Network, a British company that puts out a lot of various releases, many of which I've covered on this channel. I'm going to unbox this release, share my opinions, and let you know what I think. Here's our cover art. Now, in America, when it was originally released back in the 60s, the show was called Planet Patrol to avoid confusion with another show that was called Space Patrol in America. Here's our spine. All the legal information on the bottom. Here's the spines of the various discs. If you notice, they don't have numbers on here, just as like the first, second, third, fourth. Because oddly enough, they made the discs like they were, comic books. There was a comic series that was being produced around the time the show was being made. Here's the back cover. Has a description of the show, pictures of the characters, credits, description. Now let's take a look at the actual discs. So first off, we have disc 1. If you notice, it says annual on here, and it says based on the TV series. I think it's cool they used comic book art, but I really think they should have reworded that so it made a little more sense since these are home video releases. And then inside the package here we have our disc. There's a description of the transfers here, and then you have underneath the disc an episode guide for the ones that are on this particular disc. Disc 2. And once again, inside we have our disc and episode descriptions underneath. We then come to disc 3. And once again, episode guide underneath the disc. And lastly, of course, we have disc 4. There's our episode guide for this one. I'll read the description of the transfers that's featured in the inside of the disc 1 case. About the transfers, Space Patrol was filmed on 35mm original negative, and despite an intensive search for the original elements, most of the film material sadly remains lost. Reduction 16mm combined prints were located for 37 of the 39 episodes, and together with the only existing 35mm combined prints for the other 2 episodes, are the basis for these new HD masters. Transferred on a Spirit data scene in HD, the image was graded and treated for grain and defects using both automated and manual procedures. Whilst every effort has been made to correct major imperfections such as warping and density fluctuations, many defects still remain. The general standard of these episodes, however, far exceeds any previously available versions. Out of the 39 episodes, 2 were available from previous HD transfers of 35mm combined prints, The Robot Revolution and Mystery on the Moon, while the remainder were constructed from newly transferred 16mm combined prints. I'll also read the description of the show as follows from the box. This outer box is honestly a little flimsy and thin. I wish this was a little sturdier, but let's see what they have to say about the show. This is Earth, the year 2100, and these are the adventures of cult hit Space Patrol. Newly remastered in HD from the original film elements for this Blu-ray edition, the series has never looked better. Join Galasphere 347 and its intrepid crew on their voyages around the solar system. Heroic Captain Dart, Elfin Slim, Sausage Mad Husky, Irish genius Professor Haggerty, Mad Martian Pirate Gabler, and keeping them all in a tight rein and an even tighter budget, Colonel Rayburn and his super efficient secretary, Marla. So I hadn't even been aware of this show until just a few weeks ago when I was reading up on Fireball XL5 and how this show was often mistaken for that since the two aired around the same time and followed a similar premise. I do have to say, I have watched a few episodes out of this box set. I haven't watched all of them yet or anywhere near that. And I have to say, although the show certainly does have its entertainment value, it does lack the charm and the memorable characters of Gerry Anderson shows that were being made around the same time. You can tell this was being made on what was most likely a lower budget than what Jerry Anderson and his team had to work with. And I do think Roberta Lee, Arthur Provis, and the team that made this show did the best they could with what they had. It's not as memorable as Jerry Anderson's shows, but it's by no means a bad series. I'm a sucker for retro science fiction, so I certainly did enjoy going back and watching this show for the first time. If you're into like retro science fiction and these older series that utilized marionettes and so forth, long before the days of CG, and this became, it became a lot cheaper and easier to make this kind of entertainment, back when you actually had to work for it, I mean, the fruits of their labor are certainly visible in every episode. Now, how does it look? The best way I can describe these transfers is inconsistent. I mean, again, you heard what I said earlier about how they were remastered from various differing sources of varying quality, and that shows in the transfers. Based on what I'm reading, these are better looking than any prior releases, but don't come in here expecting something that's like razor sharp and beautiful looking. These will never be demo material for your home theater, and again, while they're certainly better looking than what I imagine the DVDs of the series look like, you should keep your expectations in check, knowing about the state of the source material, or in some cases, lack thereof. Sadly, there are no bonus features, even though I know for a fact there were earlier released DVDs that did have some bonus features on them. So, again, another thing you have to keep your expectations in check for. This is a region-free release, so it will work in any player. If you do want to import this and watch this in the United States like I'm doing, you should have no reservations about doing it because it should work fine in your player without a hitch. I can recommend this series to anyone who's curious, maybe if you're a fan of retro sci-fi or like, pre-CG entertainment like this. It is an entertaining show for what it is, even if it does lack the charisma, the charm, and the memorable characters of the works of Jerry Anderson. Have you seen Space Patrol before? What do you think of this series? Have you picked up the Blu-ray release yet? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.